Welcome to this explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're here. Today we are stepping into the role of communication masters, looking at some truly transformative insights on unlocking your hidden potential. You know, as a coach, I'm constantly analyzing what separates just average communicators from the truly exceptional ones. And honestly, the secret isn't just about what you say. It's about how you tap into the underlying architecture of the human experience. So let's dive right in and unlock the true power of your mind.
So who is really directing your life? Just let that question sink in for a second. We all love to think it's our conscious, rational self making all the calls, right? But the truth is, there are hidden forces, an entire engine room operating just below the surface of your awareness. It is actively steering your decisions, your reactions, and most importantly, your interactions with everyone around you.
Because here's a foundational truth of human interaction. You literally cannot not communicate. This is a core presupposition from our source material on neuro-linguistic programming. Even when you are sitting completely silent, you are constantly broadcasting. I mean, think about it. Have you ever smiled at someone while internally thinking, I really wish you'd leave? You didn't fool anyone, did you? Your body language, your lack of eye contact, that slight tension in your jaw, they were all loudly transmitting your true state. You are always influencing others, mostly without any conscious effort whatsoever. So how do we take control of these constant unconscious broadcasts? Well, we need a system. Section 1, decoding the NLP model.
Neuro-linguistic Programming, or NLP. Okay, I know, it sounds like a total mouthful, but it's actually incredibly practical. Neuro is all about your mind and how you translate sensory information into thought. Linguistic is how you use language to give those thoughts meaning, and how that language actually affects your body and behavior. And programming, that's simply how you sequence your actions to achieve your goals. It's the systemic study of how we structure our subjective experience. Basically, it's not just a set of techniques, it's a total mindset of curiosity.
Picture a clear, perfectly calm glass of water. This is a brilliant metaphor for what we're trying to achieve here. A healthy life, as our sources point out, requires a balance between the conscious and the unconscious mind, much like a beautiful work of art. The ideal situation is absolute clarity, where your conscious goals and your unconscious drives are working as one, pulling in the exact same direction. When you hit that sweet spot, you can set and reach compelling goals with a fraction of the effort.
To reach that level of clarity, we've got to go a bit deeper. Section 2, meet your unconscious mind.
The real kicker here is understanding the sheer difference in processing power between your two minds. Your conscious mind, the part of you listening to my words right this second, is actually pretty limited. It can only handle about 7, plus or minus 2, chunks of information at any given time. It's hardly skilled at all. But your unconscious mind? Oh wow. It is a vast, boundless storehouse. It controls your emotions, regulates your physical body, and faithfully records every single experience you've ever had. In fact, our sources note that all real, lasting change takes place at the unconscious level.
You know, for the longest time, traditional psychology kind of painted the unconscious mind as this dark, spooky vault of repressed urges. But NLP completely flips that script. Your unconscious is actually a faithful, powerful friend and servant. It works constantly in the background just to support you. It holds your skills, your most valued dreams, and your deepest internal resources. It's your greatest ally. And like any good friend, it deserves respect, and it requires you to learn how to communicate with it effectively.
But here is where we almost always get communication totally wrong. Ready? Don't think about watching a film. Okay, what just happened in your mind? You probably pictured yourself sitting in a cinema or in front of your TV before you could even tell yourself not to think about it. This brilliantly illustrates a massive quirk of our neurology. The unconscious mind literally cannot process negatives directly. It operates entirely on symbols and metaphors. To understand a negative command, it first has to vividly picture the exact thing you want to avoid. This is exactly why coaching yourself or someone else with negative outcomes, like saying, "Don't be nervous," is a total recipe for failure. You always have to communicate exactly what you do want.
So how do we establish a direct, positive line of communication with this powerful friend? We use a very natural bridge. Section 3, the power of trance.
Let's demystify a word that definitely gets a bad rap: trance, or hypnosis. No, we're not talking about swinging pocket watches or mind control here. Trance is simply an internally focused state of attention. The more you focus on your inner world of thoughts and feelings, the less you pay attention to the external world. Guess what? We all drift in and out of trance every single day. When you're completely lost in a good book or just staring out the window daydreaming on a train, you're in a trance. It's simply a relaxed state where those deeper, unconscious parts of your mind become highly accessible for positive change.
The absolute master of utilizing this state was a psychiatrist named Milton Erickson. He used everyday conversational language to gently guide people inward. For example, he might say, "When did you last learn so easily?" Notice what happens when you hear that. You naturally have to pause. You literally have to go inside your own memory banks to search for an answer. Just by asking that specific question, we create a momentary, light trance. It's a pattern interrupt that brilliantly shifts focus inward.
And that brings us to the really exciting part. Section 4, Becoming a Hypnotic Communicator.
One of my absolute favorite tools in the coaching toolkit is the embedded command. For example, I might say, "I'm curious about whether you will learn to relax in a few moments." Did you hear how my voice just shifted there? I physically dropped my vocal tone slightly on the phrase, "learn to relax." Why do that? Because you are actively marking out a command for the unconscious mind, slipping it right past the critical conscious filter. The conscious mind just hears a friendly, curious question, but the unconscious mind, it hears a direct physical instruction. Varying your tone of voice is just an incredibly effective way to change states in yourself and others.
But hey, what happens if the person you're communicating with is stuck in a highly negative, unresourceful emotional state? You can't just forcefully drag them into a positive one. First, you have to break their current pattern. You can do this in highly practical, everyday ways. Tell a joke. Laughter literally shifts their breathing and physiology. Call their name sharply. Ask them to physically stand up and move to a new chair. Distract them completely with something random. These physical and mental pattern interrupts completely shatter the negative loop, bringing the person to a neutral place so you can actually guide them effectively.
All right, let's put the whole shebang together responsibly. When you want to facilitate a change in yourself or someone else, just follow this 4-step framework from our source material. Number 1, you absolutely must establish rapport first. That means building a genuine relationship of trust and mutual influence. Without trust, honestly, nothing else works. Number 2, clearly set a positive goal. Number 3, apply your NLP pattern or communication technique. And number 4, future pace. That means mentally rehearsing this new change, succeeding in the future. And always ensure this change is ecological, meaning it actually benefits the whole person without any unintended negative consequences down the line.
We've covered a tremendous amount of ground today, peeling back the layers of how we truly connect as humans. Now that you understand the hidden architecture of communication, now that you know exactly how to bypass that critical conscious mind and speak directly to that powerful, faithful servant within, how will you use these tools to transform your relationships today? The power is literally in your hands. Take it, practice it, and just watch what happens. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep learning.